ever seen. This works hand in hand with the Inflation Reduction Act to really boost American innovation, competitiveness, and security. So we've clearly given the Department of Energy a lot of work to do. Congress has spoken clearly over the last 2 years. Between the Energy Act, the Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill, and the Inflation Reduction Act,
it looks like economists have released a big warning to Americans. The recession is pushing more people, including families and retirees, into poverty. And now Kevin McCarthy has announced that he doesn't even support the new bill that Democrats have proposed because President Biden may take executive action this time. A group of conservatives in the House are pushing for a vote on a bill that would eliminate the Fed, income taxes, and the IRS. But some influential Republicans are pushing back against what appears to be a failure for the GOP. The bill known as the Fair Tax Act would actually scrap all individual and corporate income taxes while imposing a 30% national sales tax on goods and services to be collected at the state level. And it would eliminate the need for the IRS, everybody. So this could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you see it. But I personally believe it would be a good thing because in the deal with Kevin McCarthy for his House leadership, the conservatives reportedly want a commitment to bring the tax bill to the floor for a vote. However, the bill has virtually no chance of becoming law, and meanwhile provided Joe Biden and Democrats with new ammunition in their effort to paint Republicans as extremists. Chuck Schumer said that the Republican tax plan will raise the cost of buying a house to $125,000. Also, it would raise the cost of buying a car by $10,000. It would raise the average grocery bill by $3,500. And at a time when people are already worried about the high price of groceries, it looks like things are going bad. Schumer failed to note that the bill would also eliminate income and other taxes, but his remarks highlight the difficulty Republicans face if they push ahead with the bill. Analysis of similar tax plans show that a national sales tax would be aggressive, raising taxes on the poor, reducing taxes on the rich, and other things like that. But several Republican leaders have already come out against the bill. Even McCarthy said that he earlier doesn't even oppose it. It would allow that it will come up for consideration. It makes the committee process more difficult. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise has also said he doesn't support the bill, preferring instead to make the tax cuts included in the tax law of 2017 permanent. And one representative, a relatively moderate Republican from Nebraska, told reporters that he is also opposed to the bill. More than a dozen states are continuing to send out checks to millions of people, hoping to provide some extra relief in cash to consumers, as inflation drives up prices on everyday items. Many states are able to send these checks because of excess revenue. Many of the payments are officially called tax rebate checks. Last fall, California began issuing the middle-class tax refund, one-time payments designed to ease the bite of inflation. And as of January, more than 16 million direct deposits and debit cards were issued. But as many as 1 million people, eligible residents, have yet to receive the check, which can be as much as $1,000. And now California taxpayers filed individually and make less than $250,000 are eligible. As were the couples who filed jointly and make $500,000 or less, because according to the Franchise Tax Board, that works out to be about 25 million people. The IRA is also ushering a pair of tax benefits for Americans, also new filing this season. The expiration of a homeowner deduction, potential double taxation for some remote workers, and the deadline for federal returns is here. One intended change that would have likely led to confusion was dumped late last year before it took effect. Taxpayers should avoid feeling overwhelmed by the changes by focusing on only those that affect their returns and have the rest of the tax pros. The last 2 years included temporary changes to the tax code. We have a ton of news about the fourth stimulus checks, Social Security benefits, SSI, and SSDI. A ton of news about the fourth stimulus payments are coming in. I have a lot of information that I'm going to share with you guys today in this video, so continue watching. The several lawmakers, everybody in Congress, have discussed new inflation relief checks for the people. So if you reside in states like Minnesota or Massachusetts, well, you may qualify for at least another stimulus check this year. It comes as budgets are being finalized. States are planning to use the budget surpluses for another round of checks. So a lot of good things are happening in Congress, and a lot of stimulus payments can actually be sent out faster than we ever thought in the history of our lives. So, as I was saying, it's official. The governor in several states like Minnesota have actually hoped to include a tax rebate in the state's upcoming budget. It comes from the announcements of the state's budget. It's set to go for January 24. And according to the Associated Press, well, the budget will propose indexing state aid for school districts just to help combat inflation. So Waltz has told reporters that I think people are feeling inflation. Even though it might be cooling a little bit, there's a slight sense of urgency among people to get something done. And that's good here. Something should be done because the Governor Waltz's original pitch for the tax rebates has been quite generous for a lot of people. It gives single filers, for instance, a lot of breathing room, a lot of time to just think about what they can do, and now the government has already signed them into a second term. So, though not all of these fellow lawmakers share the priorities, though, because the House Speaker and Majority Leader claimed they wanted to prioritize tax credits for families, giving the families $3,000 for every child 5 or younger, with a cap of $7,500. Even the Massachusetts governor and top lawmakers signaled that a clear picture of potential tax relief may not even emerge until at least the end of January, when a key final metric is actually heard of. So one governor, for instance, said their teams are working closely through numbers and evaluating what's possible. They said that we told reporters how important it is to make sure that we're doing everything we can for the residents of the state. And Healy on the campaign trail had vowed to make progressive permanent tax relief her day one priority. She also had largely echoed support for the now former governor Charlie Baker's sweeping tax cut proposal last year. And low, middle, and income residents have all received some stimulus payments just to stop the crying at least. But now the IRS said it recently finished correcting tax returns, filing that for 2020. And so the IRS said, folks, that the average tax refund is around $1,200, with tax agencies sending a total of $15 billion back to the taxpayers. So while taxpayers were sent letters from the IRS just to inform them about the fixes to the 2020 tax filings, well, tax review came due to the American Rescue Plan. It was signed by Joe Biden, we all know that, and because the IRS, it reviewed returns filed by workers and even other people who have jobless aid as income. So the IRS told CNBC that some taxpayers received refunds, while others received overpayment applied due to taxes or other debts. In some cases, the exclusion only resulted in a reduction in their adjusted gross income. But now we know that about 14 million tax returns were corrected. The IRS issued refunds for 12 million of those filings. It added individuals, married couples whose adjusted gross income was below 150 grand, or who were eligible to see unemployment and aid untaxed. According to the IRS, it has now finished corrections, everybody. Though it has added taxpayers who are eligible for the exclusion and who haven't gotten a correction from the IRS. Well, they need to be amended very, very quick, or else you won't get that stimulus cash that people need. Wow, we have a ton of news about the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, SSI, SSDI, and I want to go over some very important notes that I have about the fourth stimulus payment and what Joe Biden should do about this fourth stimulus check and what he's going to do now very soon.
Hey everyone, today we honor the legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King was a prophet. He saw the future as it could be, a future of equity, justice, and opportunity for all. Dr. King saw the connection between racial injustice